This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Hi, welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview and allow it to clash into the culture around us. And when it's done, hopefully we say some things that will encourage, educate, enlighten you, and improve your walk with Jesus in this adventure called faith. I'm Jeff Dixon. I'm sitting here next to the saint himself, the one, the only, my doctor, Chris Whaley. Chris, how you doing?
Man, just super duper.
Yeah?
Looking forward to today. We always do.
Yeah, today's going to be fun because, you know, man, I got problems.
No.
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I got problems. I got problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do an episode about that.
I think this is it.
Oh, this is one?
Yeah. It's
Your
one.
timing is perfect. Help me with my problems.
Yeah, and I got a question about that.
Okay.
Because we're going to deal with this, I'm sure, throughout this episode. But it is this. Jeff, if God is all-powerful,
Okay.
and He is,
He is.
why doesn't He remove all of our problems instantly?
Wow. Well, Chris, you have 29 minutes to tell us how. Why?
Oh, no, it's going to be longer than that. Yeah. Well, you know, that's sadly today, there are some churches and pastors, and they preach as if, hey, if you come to Christ, all your problems are going to be solved, and, you know, you're going to win the lottery, you're going to do this, and everything's going to be fine and hunky-dory, and that's not it. You know, I mean, Jeff, I got to tell you, the roughest days I've had have been since I've come to know Christ.
Okay.
You know, before that, it was a cakewalk.
Sure.
But I've had some rough days since then. Have you?
Oh, no doubt about it. Now, and of course, you're not alone. I mean, we're both kind of in the same boat there. And I guarantee you that if you're watching the show, you know exactly what we're talking about. And so the great news is that we're going to take an honest, biblical, Christian look at problems. Mm-hmm. And how do you navigate them? Because again, you're right. I mean, God can do anything. So any problem you've ever faced, God could eliminate just like that. Mm-hmm. But He doesn't.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make Him any less God. So there's something that we need to learn and remember.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do our best to help you navigate our problems. And so we'll be back right after this break. Hi, I'm Jeff Dixon, one of the hosts of The Clash, and that's where you're used to seeing me. But I'm also the pastor of the church at 434 in Winter Springs here in Central Florida. And we got something really cool that's happening. God is moving among us as a people. We are a church on the move, and we are a home for folks that are trying to touch and change the world. And we have one of the greatest opportunities before us we've ever had. We got space issues. That's right, we're out of space. And we're in the midst of what we're calling a space program. We're not building a building per se, because that would be, well, too easy to talk about. What we're doing is we're trying to create space so that we can do the ministry that God has created us to do, and the ministry that He's called us to do here in the Central Florida area. The Clash is one of the things that happens as a result of that ministry, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. We'd love for you to pray for us. We'd love for you to take a look at what we're doing, and we would love, if God leads you, to invite you to contribute financially as well. You're right, I'm asking for money. But hey, if you feel guilty about it, you give. And if you feel really guilty, give more. But the website at the bottom of the screen will take you to our website where you can find out all you want to know about the space program and so much more. And so take the time and visit with us. If you can be a part of that space program, we would love to have you a part of that journey. Look forward to seeing you there and visiting with you online.
Hey, welcome back to The Clash, and we are talking about problems. And I think, Jeff, you did a great job you always do, on that introduction. But I think, Jeff, it all boils down to, you know, God's ability versus God's purpose. He has the ability, but what is his purpose in letting us go through those problems? So we have to ask the question, are problems a sign of weak faith, or is it something else entirely? Where would you take us in this?
I think, my opinion would be that problems and difficulties are a part of the human experience, and as believers, followers, we're not exempt from that. What Jesus tells us, that in this world you'll have trouble. Take heart, I've overcome the world, right? So it's not like that he hid the fact that we were going to have problems.
Right.
I just think that as believers and followers, we're better equipped because we have more resources to navigate those problems.
Right.
And so I think that the struggling, working through those kind of things and experiencing those things, I really do think that God uses those as the growing fields, if you will, for our character. And I think that probably is one of the biggest reasons that we probably get to go through problems.
Yeah.
And I say get to go through problems because it grows our character. Because, I mean, we were talking, as we kind of got ready for this episode, you were talking about the fact that, we have biblical characters that weren't exempt from problems. And if that's the case, and you share them in just a second, I'm sure, why would guys like you and I be exempt from problems?
Yeah. Jesus himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went through pain and suffering. I remember, Jeff, before, and this story is actually in my book, but I had gotten fired as a youth minister, and I was the world's worst youth minister. I was terrible. But I was out of shape. I got back into wrestling real quick because we needed the money. And then I had a guy that just tore my knee up and tore my ACL, my MCL. It was a mess. And so I'm bitter. I was bitter against the church for what I was saying, what they did to me. And I was bitter because I got injured. And we lost everything. Had to move in with my mom and dad, the height of embarrassment, And we just had a little baby girl, and we're at my mom and dad's. It's Sunday morning. My folks have already gone to church, and I'm sitting there with my knee up, and Verna walks out with our little baby girl, lays her down, and starts putting dresses on her and stuff. And I said, "What are you doing?" She said, I'm going to get our baby girl ready, and I'm going to go find a church somewhere, and I'm going to go worship. And I said, after what they did to me, and her nostrils flared, and she turned around, and she pointed that bony little finger in my face, and she said, "Chris, your problem is you got your eyes on the wrong thing. You got your eyes on people. People are going to let you down every time." She said, "You ought to have your eyes on Christ, because he's never going to let you down. And another thing, Chris, look what they did to Jesus. He was crucified. Why do you think you're so special?" Boy, that was humbling.
I bet.
That was humbling, and it has helped me to deal with some of my problems. So I didn't mean to get off on that. But
no, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Why get Verna in here?
Oh yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So where would you take us on this problem episode?
Well, I think it's where we're at is a great place to start, because again, for anybody that's listening, you're going to have relational struggles. There will be financial struggles. There's going to be job struggles. There's life change struggles, whether it simply be the act of aging, parenting, kids moving out of the house, moving back in the house, grandkids out of the house or back in the house. Add to it health issues, and then on top of that, if you're going to be a follower, there might be some moments where your faith is going to be tested. You might discover some moments where you're going to be persecuted for your faith. You might have those moments where your faith is going to just butt up against this real world that we live in, and none of us are exempt from that. That really is, I think, the takeaway that lays the groundwork for anything else we talk about. Nobody is exempt. And if you've never experienced a problem, I want you to email us and tell us who you are, because we need to pray for you because you're a liar. You have experienced problems. We all have, and none of us are going to be exempt. And so there's nothing spiritual about that at all. Nobody is exempt. The only thing spiritual is how you're going to face those problems, and I think that really is the takeaway from this first segment. And so, if that's true, and it is, where do we go from there? Do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think, Jeff, we live in a fallen world, and we're going to deal with sin and suffering, and a lot of times it boils down to consequences, consequences for our actions and stuff. So, the great thing is, like Verna said, get your eyes off of people. People are going to let you down every time. And you put your eyes on Christ, who has never let anyone down, a person who is well, he knew what suffering was. He knew what problems were. And he has given us great examples in his word on how to overcome those things.
Yeah.
Well,
let me quote some scripture for us here.
Okay.
Romans 8:28. We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. And so that means problems, good times, bad times, up times, down times.
Yeah.
All of that is a part of that masterpiece workshop that God brings us through. And he works them together for good if we love him. And I think there is a lot to hold on to when it starts to come to grips with, okay, man, I got trouble. I got problems.
Right.
Am I asking the right questions? Am I looking at the right place? Am I seeing this from a selfish perspective or a selfless perspective? Am I seeing this as an opportunity to learn, grow, and overcome? Or am I just going to wallow like a wallow beast in my own self-pity? You think all of that kind of melts away when you remember that whatever it is you're going through, God's going to take it and do something amazing with it, and he's doing it for you. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
Yeah. I used to have a shirt that said, "No pain, no gain."
Right. Yeah.
And if I could give you any hope in the problems that you're dealing with, is that one of the greatest things that come out of those problems is strength and perseverance.
Yeah. Absolutely right.
Yeah, because it's gonna work on you to work on your faith, and it's going to give you some great time to grow up and mature in your faith. And so all problems are not bad, because God uses those problems to make us stronger for him. That's my thought.
I mean, it's good. We're going to go to a break here in a minute, so I want to make sure before we get that break that we emphasize something. I don't want you to mishear us or misinterpret or read between the lines here.
Right.
God is not the cause of your problems.
No.
I mean, God is not out there dumping on you. He's not out there loading up on you. He's not up there trying to hurt you. So God is not the cause of your problems. He's not the creator of your problems. I do a good job all on my own to create my problems. But God is not the creator of your problems. But he does promise to be with us in the midst of those problems.
I will never
Because
leave
you started, as we were kind of talking about this segment, we live in a fallen world.
Right.
So the fallen world is the reason there's trouble, problems. We all have to go through it. So God's promised us, even though he is not the cause of the problem, it's his presence in the problems. And because of that, then we get to face them differently.
Right.
And that's where we get back to that all things work together for good for those who love him.
Right.
And I think that's significant. And before we go to the break, we want to make sure you really do understand what we're talking about here. Everyone has problems. You have them, we have them. We're not exempt. And you know what? It doesn't matter what the problem is. If it's a problem to you, it's a problem. And so it's not a contest to see who has worse problems. You can always find somebody worse off than you are, but in the midst of that, we can rest assured that God is there. Maybe we should take a break and let them ponder that while we try to sell them some stuff.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
We'll be right back.
Jeff, did you ever in your wildest imagination think that one day we would have this great TV show called The Clash, and you could actually buy T-shirts and stuff that had The Clash on? Did you ever think that possible?
Yeah, when I was 3 years old, I had a vision.
You did?
That was going to happen one day. No, I'm just kidding. I never thought about that. So.
Hey, it's just awesome, man. I mean, of course, the tagline, "Don't tap out."
Yeah.
On the hat.
Look at that.
Yeah. And then on the back of the hat, it's got The Clash. And I don't know, what you got?
Well, I've been sitting around thinking about, how could you think about The Clash 24 hours a day and at the same time hydrate?
Oh, wow.
This cup right there, look at there.
How awesome is that?
That's a mini tumbler right there.
Wow.
But you could get a coffee cup.
You know what? I need to get one of those to pour the coffee into it so it keeps it.
You also could get a mug though. If you're a mug guy, you can get a mug.
Yeah.
You get a big taller tumbler that you can walk around. And so when you're walking around drinking stuff with our logo on it, people say, "What is The Clash?" And they could tell you all about the TV show.
So you need to look at that little QR code down at the bottom of your screen, and you just get your camera, your phone out, you put it on camera, and you look at that, and a little thing will come up, and you touch that, it takes you right to the store. It's so easy, even I can do it.
There you go.
Hey, welcome back to The Clash. We're talking about problems. And, it's an amazing thing, Jeff. The Bible does not hide struggles and problems.
No.
It highlights it.
It really does.
It does. And Christianity is not an escape from problems. Christianity is the strength through those problems.
Yeah.
And I think you got some great things to share with us in the second half, and I just want you to take off and let's ride that pony.
I'll ride the pony, but
Yeah.
I think, and again, I certainly, and I know you'll agree with this. I come from a church perspective. I'm a churchman, right? I mean, church is the bride of Christ. I really do think one of the most underappreciated and perhaps undervalued resources that we have for dealing with problems is the community and family of God that God puts us in.
The church.
I mean, I think the church really becomes our lifeline in the midst of problems. People, I think, sometimes use those problems as a reason to turn away from God or run from God.
Right.
I heard a long time ago advice that I've always held to, don't let your problems or struggles cause you to run from God. Run to God with those.
Right.
And so why I run to those is to the church. And I think that Galatians 6:2 says, carry each other's burdens. And in this way, you'll fulfill the law of Christ. I just think there is an amazing gift and resources that we can find within the family of God that help us as we navigate struggle, problems. Right. Am I just batting at the wind there?
No. And I think we should be on the lookout as people in the church. We really ought to be on the lookout, and because there's people that come in through those doors every week that just have an unbelievable load on their shoulders, and we as the body of Christ can be a part to help those people who are having those, because we would certainly want it if the role was reversed, right? And so I love that part of the church, is that we should be bearing one another's burdens, like the scripture says.
I mean, and I think if you're in the midst of problems and you're not affiliated with church and all you're doing is watching this show on Abundant TV and a Christian app, I mean, you get to a church, find yourself a church somewhere. I mean, this is a resource. We're a resource, but we like being a resource, but we're not the church. And I think we compound our problems sometimes, because let's say we take that advice. Okay, I'm gonna get to the people of God. I've got problems, but then we're not satisfied with how the people of God may help respond to those problems.
Right.
And so let me put a disclaimer out there. It's not an excuse. It's a real life disclaimer. Don't expect the body of believers to rescue you from your problems because you create them. I mean, case in point, if I go out tomorrow And I've decided I'm going to take my paycheck for next week and I'm going to bet it and blow it at the dog track, which is illegal in the state of Florida, so I wouldn't do that anyway. But I'm going to blow my paycheck at the dog track and gamble it away. And then I don't have money to feed my family, pay my bills. And so I make it worse. I'm going to borrow money then from some loan shark out there. This is an incredible scenario, right? I'll borrow money from a loan shark and I'm going to go out, and my plan, because I got problems, right, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that money, gamble it, win it all back, pay him off, and then have enough to pay my bills. I lose all that money too. So I run to the church, and I go to the pastor and I say, I am desperate. I need money to pay my bills, and if I can't get money from the church, somebody's going to beat me up and break my legs because, well, I owe them money too. And then the church looks back at you and says, well, as pastor of the church, I don't really think that the people who have been so faithful in giving that desire for us to pay off your gambling debts. Maybe the bigger issue is we need to help you become less addicted to gambling. We can help you with that problem, but the debts, so they're yours. You got to repay them. And you know, in that scenario, what happens? Well, I get mad because the church doesn't pay my bills. Hogwash. Don't do that. Understand. Be realistic about what you're asking for in that community of faith. There might be a dramatic rescue. You never know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, there's always that unrealistic expectation when we say something like the community of faith is great in the midst of your problems. Gotta remember, we're dealing with a fallen world and broken people who are just trying to get a little bit better like everybody else. And so sometimes you're going to find yourself comparing your problems to somebody else and realize, well, maybe I've got problems, but maybe I should be helping them with theirs. And I think that's one of the amazing dynamics that happen within the walls of the church, because the struggles can help us build authentic relationships. And if the church is working well, it doesn't matter what you've done, be it a gambling debt, be it a low life, be it a deadbeat dad or a drug addicted mom or whatever those issues could be. The church can love you and accept you as someone who needs to know Jesus and will do their best to help kind of encourage you down that path. And I think that sometimes we don't value the gift of help we get within the church walls.
Your struggle today may become someone else's breakthrough tomorrow. I mean, what you're going through it might help somebody else tremendously down the road. But I have to say this, Jeff, and we need to say it. The church cannot solve all of your problems.
No.
I mean, if you're coming, just like I've been a senior pastor, and I've had people come in and ask for money, and it was because of bad choices that they had made. And I feel bad for them. But like you, I didn't want to take the people who gave that money so faithfully and, bail somebody else who made some terrible choices and all. But we can help you to get away from making those terrible choices, right?
Right. I mean, did you find that when you weren't able to help people, and from the pastor's standpoint, the people got mad at you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and they always said, I knew the church wouldn't help anyway.
Right. They blame you, not themselves. They blame you, and then ultimately they do that because they want to blame God. Give them time, don't blame God.
And I found out that they've been to like 3 or 4 other churches before they hit me. So, pressure is going to reveal what's really inside of you. And so, how do Christians react to this when they start going through it?
I think we would be doing a great disservice to our audience if we didn't land here and basically say, when you are going through problems, you have one way to respond, and that's with faith, right? What does the scripture says? Philippians, don't be anxious about anything. So when problems hit, we're not to be anxious about it. And we're not to hold on to it. We are to give it to God.
Right.
And I think, when you strip it all down at the end of the day, and I love it when people ask this question, as long as they're not asking me this question. I wanted to be honest. You know, but if Chris, if you come to me with a problem, you know, you lay it out. You know, if I look over and say, Chris, brother, I love you. But let's be honest. Do you want this problem, or do you want God to have this problem?
I want God
Who's
to
better equipped to have that problem?
God.
Give it to God.
Right.
And if you give the problem to God,
Right.
then the hardest thing that we deal with as people is not taking that problem back.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you ever done it? I have. I mean, I'll admit it. I've done it.
I've tried to help God out so many times.
Oh my gosh, I've wasted years of my life trying to help God do what God wanted to do.
Yeah.
And doesn't God always get it done without you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Doesn't need our help.
He does not.
He does not.
But if we, you know, and there's a security in knowing that, I think, and it's a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the peace that he offers to us.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, we just stumble over it all the time because when our problems hit, no one has ever faced a problem this big. It's a problem that we can't solve, and then we let the problem become bigger than God.
Mm-hmm. And God is more concerned about your development than he is about your comfort.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because faith, contrary to popular belief, doesn't eliminate problems at all.
No.
Faith leads us to growth, and faith leads us to depth in the midst of problems.
Yeah, and a lot of times faith is trusting God when the outcome doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about this, Jeff?
Okay.
Have you ever been going through a problem and you felt like God was silent?
Oh, yeah.
So, does God's silence mean that he's absent?
No. In my life, God's silence seems to come along after God's already given me the answers I need. I just didn't listen.
Right.
I think as a follower, I leave a lot of promises of God on the table sometimes.
Right. Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. And I think when God is silent, and I keep thinking to myself in my head, I keep praying and praying and praying about this, and I never get an answer. Boy, if I can slow down enough, which is why I like the journaling so much, and God gives you an answer and you don't do it, I don't think God's compelled to give it to you a second or third time.
Yeah. You know, I went to see that that movie, I Can Only Imagine 2. Great movie.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah. But, you know, I think that movie basically says this, that sometimes God calms the storm that you might be going through, but sometimes he calms the storm in you.
Yeah.
When he gives you that strength through your faith to know that, hey, I have given this to God. I need to let him work, and I need to be quiet and listen to what God is saying to me. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what's the old phrase? The peace that passes all understanding, right? We don't get it. We don't understand it. But there's a peace that we get from knowing Jesus, that in this, you know, peace doesn't mean the absence of conflict, doesn't mean the absence of problems. Peace means that there is someone who knows what's going on better than we do, and he's there with us.
Right.
And to know that gives us peace.
Right.
I mean, that's my hope for everybody who's watching, that they would have that kind of peace, because problems are real. Not making light of problems. We all got them.
Right.
You keep yours, by the way. We don't want them. We'll keep ours. But know in the midst of it, there is a solution to those problems. And the solution is Jesus, because he helps carry us through.
Yep. And as believers, we need to ask the question, are we following God for who he is or just for what he can fix in our lives? And I think we know that answer.
Yeah.
Should I take us home?
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, we haven't solved the issue of problems, but we haven't
even scratched
dealt
it.
with them honestly, I think. And that's good enough, I think.
Right. So I want to finish with this. God never promised a problem-free life for you, but he promised a presence-filled life.
That's good.
Don't tap out.